All right, all right. Here we go. Episode 26 of the Hitting the Road podcast. I'm here with music artist Drew Green. Drew, man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you having me on today.
Dude, thank you, man. It means a lot. And so, as we kind of get going, I mean, so Drew, you've been at the music thing for a while, and when we were talking a second ago, just before we jumped on, I told you I wanted to kind of get into some of the guts of your origin story. But man, just so people know, I mean, you're not really a Nashville, like you're not a transplant, but you're not a local. I mean, you're about 75, miles, I guess, southeast, town, McMinnville, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's where I grew up. I live in Mount Juliet now, which is pretty much Nashville. But
Yeah,
uh, yeah, I come from a small little town called McMinnville, Tennessee. It's the
yeah,
nursery capital of the world. It's nothing but trees. Um, so I grew up on a tree farm.
yep,
My dad was the biggest Alan Jackson, Sammy Kershaw
yep.
country music fan, and that those two albums 1994 albums, I guess, from both those artists never left the tape deck, and
Yeah, man.
that's kind of what I grew up listening to, and that was my roots. And uh, I just feel I've been a singer. My mom says I was singing before I could talk, so it was
Really?
just yeah, I was. I just love singing. I sing all the time. I don't know. I think it's a tick. I call it a tick because I just
Okay.
if I'm going down some stairs, if I'm walking down the hall, if I'm in the shower, I'm singing,
Yeah.
and it's just a thing that's been with me since I was a kid, and I've always had the dream of singing country music, and my dad would have me out in the tractor, and I would be listening to Brooks and Dunn, and all the workers are out there saying "Shut up."
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
out, I'm
man.
out there singing at the top of my lungs, and I guess that's kind of where I learned to sing a little bit, and I didn't take it that serious. Going into, I guess I picked up a guitar, typical story. Picked up a guitar when I was about 14.
Yeah.
Kind of taught myself the chords, and uh, I wrote my first song for a girl, and I kind of started writing songs a little bit, and uh, my dad worked me a lot, and I kind of didn't. I guess I fell in love with music more so like doing the live music thing because I joined a band. I joined a
Yeah.
rock band. It was when we were like a '90s grunge to early 2000s grunge rock band, and I was the secondary guitar player, the
Okay.
rhythm guitar player, and I wasn't a good guitar player, but but that music was easy to play, and it was my best friend. So I did that for um, probably 3 years, and as going through high school, and we practiced every day. We were like so serious about it. We played Tennessee Battle. I played with Taylor Swift when
Oh, nice.
I was 16. I was the Tennessee Battle of the Bands, and we all split up into college, and uh, I went to Tennessee Tech and kind of put music aside and started working on a finance degree.
Okay. Okay.
And I got about 2 years into it, and I randomly got the opportunity. I hadn't picked up a guitar in probably a year, and I
Yeah.
was and I was at a bar. I was underage. I think I was 20 years old with a fake ID
Hmm.
on a Wednesday night or something like that. And somebody came in and they wanted to hear live music, and they had like a DJ going, and I knew the owner because I'd came. Me and my fraternity brothers used to go up there every Wednesday, and he'd say, "Drew, don't you play guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I just happened to I was coming back to college that day, and so I had my guitar with me, and I went up and I played a few songs on the stage, and little did I know it was the owner of Tootsie's Orchid Lounge downtown,
Okay. Let's go.
Steve Smith, and he'd been drinking a lot, and I'd been drinking a lot, and I thought he was, kidding around with me. He's like, "Man, you're really good. I want you to play at my bar tomorrow. I own Tootsie's," and I didn't really even know what that was, to be honest. I had never been downtown, even though I know I'm from the area. I wasn't of age yet,
Yeah.
and I got a call at 9 a.m. the next morning. I skipped school and uh, I got down to Tootsie's, and I figured it was going to be an interview or something. I had no idea really. I had no idea what to expect. And I walk in, and this John Taylor, this old guy, walks up to me and says, "You ready, cowboy?" And he puts me up on the stage, and it's like 11:30 a.m. There's about 20 people in there, and
Mm.
I was like, I don't know any songs, and I
Sure.
didn't, and I made it through Sweet Home Alabama, and somebody came up and requested Billy Currington, Good Directions,
Okay.
and I knew it. I thought I knew it, and so I got up there and I did pretty good at it, and it went over really well. Next thing I know, there's like 5 or 6 requests, and I got off the stage and the actual singer got back up and finished his gig, but they asked me if I could come back that night at 6. And so I got a set list from them, and I just sat in my truck all day listening to music. And
Mm.
I did that for about 2 years. And I fell in love with playing live, and I started playing at the college I was at, Tennessee Tech. I was the only country act. Everybody was like a Dave Matthews cover band
Yeah.
kind of thing, and I was the only country act. And so it took off pretty good for me. It was pretty crazy. Everywhere I played was pretty packed, and I was like, maybe I can do this.
Mm.
I guess I felt like everybody else had more faith in me than I did at the
Yeah.
time, and that kind of led to me writing some more songs. And I could finish college, and I got married, and I
Mhm.
started working at a bank using my degree. And I was a banker for 2 years, which is crazy to think now, but I was clean shaven. I mean, I was, took it serious.
Yeah.
I just got promoted to manager trainer. I was going to have my own branch. Everything was looking really good, and I quit the next day.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's the time to do it if you're gonna do it, man.
Yeah, it was just, it was eating at me knowing that, if I don't try this or shoot at this, it'll follow me and I'll regret it for the rest of my life.
Sure,
And my wife was fully supportive, and she's a nurse practitioner, so I mean, we were okay if I was taking some time away from work, because
sure.
uh, all the money that I made at Tootsie's and stuff like that went into my music. So like I called Tootsie's back up, and somehow it had been 2 years, and they remembered me, and lucky me. I mean, I'm just like, I've always walked right into these lucky
Mm.
situations where somebody called out that day, and I got like a 6 to 10 gig, and they liked me more than the guy they had, and they fired him, and they hired me, and I was there for 4 years.
Yeah.
I did it for 4 years, 4 nights a week, which is way too long for most people.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you, man, because I know that some artists, man, that have done Tootsie specifically, right? Like I think that there's kind of a, I don't know, there's a little bit of tension, and
There's so much drama and tension down there. It's
yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah,
I'm a Tootsie's guy, and everybody's like,
yeah,
oh, you had it bad. I'm like, no, I had it good. I made more money than any bar down there. I thought, but Steve was always good to me. So
yeah,
it's like one of those things where I was faithful to him, and I got good gigs because of that, because I had the
yeah,
stage. I got to a point after about 2 years into it, the stage was offering me some really good gigs, and I was getting offers from other places,
yeah.
the competitors. But I stuck it out with Steve and Tootsie's.
Well, maybe because I think there are a lot of people that are right where you were in that season where it's just like, they're doing, like you said, maybe they're playing the stage or
Yeah.
something like the Acme Feed and Seed, whatever it is. And they at first, man, you think that you've kind of like, you've got one of these cherished, positions kind of thing, just kind of playing, down there on Broadway or whatever. I guess my question to you was like, did you ever go through maybe a season where you're like, I may be here for, I may be here 10 years. Or did you feel like,
Oh, oh, brother. I mean, I was torn up all through it. I mean, luckily I'm a songwriter, and I fell in love with songwriting. A guy named Hunter Phelps, who's one of the biggest songwriters in
Mhm.
Nashville right
Yeah,
now. My guitar player broke a string one night, and there was about two people, and it was a Tuesday night. It was like the worst night, and I played a song that I wrote for my wife. I had maybe wrote 3 songs my whole life, I think, at this
yeah,
point. I'm probably 24, 25, and Hunter comes in there and says, "Man, did you write that? You want to write tomorrow?" And I was like, "Well, I've never wrote with anybody before, but I'll give it a try." And
yeah,
from that moment, he drove out to my house the next day, and we became best friends, and we wrote together for probably every day for a year. And I just fell in love, like upset. I
mm,
mean, obsessed with the grind of writing songs. And I'm writing like 2 or 3 a day.
yeah,
A lot of people who write songs, and I wish I was more like this, but they get tired around 4, or like they'll write from 11 to 4, and their brain's fried and they're ready to go home. Which I wish my brain did that, but mine don't turn off,
yeah,
unfortunately. It's like that's why I play video games, because it's the one thing I can do where my mind's not singing a melody
yeah,
or doing something to get me into a song. And that's where I really fell in love with writing songs even more than performing. I was like obsessed with entertaining, and I thought that the artist thing was 100% what I wanted to do. But I went through a little phase where I was like, well, maybe the Tootsies thing is great, but maybe that's just how I'll make cash, and I stick to the songwriting thing until a bigger opportunity comes along, because I've been doing it for probably 3 years at that time, and was thinking, no one's going to come. I mean, I got offers. America's Got Talent really, they flew me out to Chicago a few times and tried to get me on that show, and I was at a point where I thought I was. kind of like I didn't need that. I was like I knew that a publishing deal was coming soon. I was because I
Mhm.
was writing. I just had faith that something would happen, you know. And
Yeah.
about that time, I wrote a song with Hunter and Hardy called Colorado. That
Yep.
um,
Yep.
yeah, and Hardy calls me one day. I was about 10 minutes away from having my first son. I mean,
Let's
I'm
go.
literally in the operating room, and Hardy called me and told me that Florida Georgia Line was going to
Yeah.
cut it, and that changed my life, man. I kind of gave myself a 5 year window. I've said this, you know, on probably every interview, like I said, I grew up on a tree farm, and I kind of gave myself a 5 year window to have any music success, or I was going to have to go back to the bank or the farm.
Yeah.
And it was about
Yeah.
4 years and 11 months.
So,
I was,
yeah.
it was
I,
right there on the line, you know.
well, I mean, and dude, so you get a call like you get a call like that from Hardy or whatever. You know, you get the call and it's just like, man, like you said, it's one of the biggest days of your life, you know, right there because you're and so it's like, I mean, who do you I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like who do you turn and do you tell your wife like mid like you know, like what you know what I'm saying? Like who do you tell your parents like who are you talking to? They're like, man, this I just got this cut and like, you know,
It's funny.
life's about to
At the
change.
time, I had had those calls before, and they
Yep.
didn't pan out. So I try not to get too my hopes up too much. Usually, I'm not saying that I'm a pessimist, but I am a little bit like I'm more of
Sure.
a like I'll always expect the worst. That way, if something bad happens, I can face it, and if
Yeah.
something good happens, I can celebrate it. You know, so it's like, and I know that's probably not the best way to be about it, but that's the way I am. And I've always been like, well, it's good that I got that call, and it's good that they say they're going to cut it. Hopefully, because I've had a couple Luke Bryan before that. I'd had a Luke Bryan hold that didn't go through, and maybe a couple more, but that was the first one that went through, and they surprised me, and I got to watch them cut it, and that was my
Yeah.
first. And I had met with literally every publisher in town, almost probably 20 plus publishers, and they all told me that I wasn't ready
Mm.
in the nicest way possible. Told me
Sure.
I wasn't ready, you know, keep grinding, and probably wasn't ready. But as soon as that happened, I guess I had the opportunity to go anywhere I wanted to at that point because I was Florida Georgia Line was the biggest duo in country
Sure.
music, and I was and Hardy was popping off pretty. It was starting to pop off, and
Yeah.
it was a good place for me to be, you know. And I was the new guy on one of Hardy's songs and one of Hunter's songs because Hunter was signed with Ashley Gorley, so it was like
Yep.
the two biggest guys, and then this guy named Drew Green. So everybody started calling
Yeah.
started calling me up, you know, and it worked out really good for me. And I signed with a guy named Brett James. Um,
Whew, man,
yeah,
brother, there's a lot of directions we could go with that, man. But well, dude, I mean, so let me tell you, man. So I moved to Nashville in 2013. It was probably January. And I mentioned to you before, you know, I started
okay,
going,
2013.
yeah, 2013, yeah.
Yeah, I was probably November of 2013.
Okay, so yeah, so we're right there, man. And so when I first moved there, you know, my best friend, he had a Bible study down on Music Row, man, at Seagale, right? And so guys would come, and I think I told you, man, like, and dude, it was funny because a lot of these guys had not really tasted any kind of real success just yet. But dude, it was like at any point, you know, we had, you know, Ashley Gorley would pop in, you know,
Yeah,
Zach Crowd would pop in, Sam Hunt sat in a couple times.
I love
You know,
him.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, Matt Jenkins was, you know, good friend of mine, and he was popping in.
I love
Uh,
Matt
Matt's amazing, yeah, and you know, but Smith Onquist, you know, like who I know,
Smith.
you
I
know,
just one of my really good buddies. Yeah.
yeah, and so like, and that's what I was kind of because I know Smith and you kind of over the years have kind
Oh
of.
yeah, we wrote a lot together. We really clicked it off. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I met Smith, dude, like I want to say he was Ashley's, you know, kind of like he was working for Ashley at the
Yep.
time,
Yep.
and now like Smith is kind of doing his own thing. But like I say all that to say that like, man, you know, you see yourself like, you know, grow in friendship with people. You see guys go on and do big things and all this kind of stuff, and you're happy for them. I guess my curiosity to you, man, is like as you kind of found really your camp, man. You mentioned Smith, you mentioned Hardy, and guys like that. Like, how did you kind of build that out, or did these guys just did it kind of just organically come through the art you guys were creating?
I mean, like I said, I just worked all the time while everybody was out networking at 9 p.m. At the bar drinking, which sometimes I'd probably have a lot more opportunities as the on the artist side of things if I'd have done that a little more.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
but I'm a farmer, man. I come from a farm, so like if I'm not gonna be at home with my family, my head's in a phone coming up with a song, you know, or my head's
yeah,
playing guitar. Like I'm just that's just the way I am. I want to be working. And I've met some guys, a guy named Russell Sutton and Lee Stars, the guys I grew up with writing, and we just, I guess Hunter and Hardy's class and Smith, they're all about a year before me. I'm a
Yeah,
little. I'm like the year. I'm like the young guy in that group. So I didn't. I wasn't as close to them as they were, and so
sure.
I kind of built my own little group outside of that, and was still close and friends with everybody. But I guess I wouldn't. They call themselves the Band of Brothers, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
yep.
I'm not in that group, but I'm
So,
in. But we're all good friends. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Well,
the Band of Brothers roadie, I guess.
yeah, yeah, exactly. The tour manager. I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, man. So you mentioned because it's like, and again, we can cover a lot of ground here for sure, but it's like, you mentioned, Brett James and man, so let me kind of take you back a little bit. So, I mean, I was working as an agent, and probably 20, I want to say 14, 15, 16, something like that. We did some dates and Brett was a part of that. We just, we did some songwriter stuff and so I had a chance to, do dates with him and MC some of his events that we did for him. And I remember one time I did this event with him in Kansas and just a real decent dude, man. Just
Um, he's
and
the
you,
definition of. I mean, I wouldn't be on this call if it wasn't for Brett James. That's for sure. I mean, he started my actual career. I was doing all right on my own, but he set the fire to the match. He was he really introduced me to everyone. I mean, everybody I called a sincere friend today was because of Brett, and he. Uh, I just wanted to be a songwriter and was happy chasing that. I never told anybody but my wife and my close guys I was writing with that I was chasing the artist thing. And I was looking for a Kenny Chesney cut. After my Colorado cut, I was looking for,
yeah,
or my FGL cut, I was looking for a Kenny Chesney cut because Brett was the king of
yep,
Kenny Chesney cuts. So I was like, all right, let's write for Kenny. And I got about 3 or 4 songs together. And I called him up one day and was like, let's get breakfast. I hadn't talked to him. He was my publisher, but it's Brett James. He's busy being a
yeah,
songwriter too. I
yeah,
wasn't like I talked to him that much. And this is about a year after signing with him, and we went and got breakfast one morning. And I figured he would listen to a couple songs and be like, keep going, bud, or whatever. And he listened to 20. I remember perfectly. It was 28 songs. We both were late for our rights, and he was like, "Man, I think you're ready for a record deal if you want one right now."
yeah,
It blew my mind. I was not ready for that conversation at all. I mean, I was grinding every day, no sleep. I mean, I was working,
yeah,
still working at Tootsie's too. I think at the time, and uh, but that I mean, and a week later, I had a deal with Justin Timberlake and Sony Records. I mean, like the biggest. It was like the biggest. It was the day before COVID. I was the last. I had to be the last artist to sign a record deal before
yeah.
the way that like the process happens. I was like, I had 1,000 followers on Instagram. I think when I signed a record deal, which would never happen today.
Right, right.
So I'm happy to be a part of that. I guess the way that it was, I missed that way, but
Yeah,
it was more so about the music.
sure.
Um, but it was a struggle because I didn't have the social media stuff wasn't there for me. So they pretty much and don't mean this in a negative way, but they handed me a phone and was like, go get famous on TikTok or something
Yeah,
because you gotta have that going for you now. That's the way it's gonna work now, and that was all that mattered. And at first, I was a little sour about it, but I adapted pretty quick. And it's not the dream that I grew up on the tractor.
sure.
Uh, it's not the dream that I had in mind, but I'm getting to sing and I'm getting to write every day. So I'm happy and here for it. It's
Yeah,
like,
no,
I'm here for
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And man, as you kind of, continue even now to just build out, what, where you're currently at. And I guess here's and I want to be respectful, man, because it's like,
Sure.
like I know that, Brett James, man, it was like that was national news when and there were people that got to either work with him professionally or there were people that, certainly and he was beloved, man, by so many.
Oh man.
And it was funny because it's probably been, I mean, you've been with him for a little while, you've been with him and
It's 2018. Yeah.
yeah,
Or the end of yeah, to the end of 2018.
and so I mean, did you kind of know like, man, I'm kind of in rarefied air here, man. I mean, like that's like me being, an artist that's working with him and he's kind of, I mean, he's taking you in, he's managing you, he's kind of, in
I
a lot of
mean, when he
ways,
started managing me, when he told me he wanted to be my manager, I guess I took it for granted at the time. I didn't think about it just because he kind of started Kit Moore too and
mm,
produced him at the beginning. And uh, I mean Brett James just whatever. I feel like whenever he was around me, I could do. anything. I was on
Yeah,
top of it. Man, we could accomplish whatever we wanted, and
sure.
he was I don't know the right word, but I call it a cheerleader. But
Yeah,
nobody was a cheerleader for me like Brett was.
yeah.
He'd say things that were just so not true, like Drew Green's the best freaking songwriter I know, or just things that I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, Brett, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
You have 27 number ones.
Yeah.
You're an idiot, like, I miss him every day, but
I'm sure, man.
he was one of my best friends and like a father to me, really, in like a lot of ways. But uh,
Yeah.
he definitely, I wouldn't be here without him. That's for sure.
Well, and man, he was one of those guys too. It's just like one of the first times I saw him perform, I was like, dude, how are you not doing the artist thing? Like, I mean, there are guys like him and like,
Oh God, he could sing so good,
that's
man.
what I'm saying. Like there were guys like him and Chris Stefano, like, you know what I'm saying? Like guys that can just like,
Oh, Chris, yeah, too.
you know
So
what I'm
good.
saying? And it's just like, I was like, Brett, how are you not? But dude, he was doing fine. He was doing fine. But
He's just
man,
happy.
yeah. And so all that to say, man, like, I mean, so he's with you, man, and you've got good people around you. You mentioned like being with Timberlake. I mean, dude, that's just a stupid pinch me kind of moment, right? Where it's just like at the time where you're just kind of like, how does this even happen? Like, I mean, like kind of walk me through, you
I mean, it
know,
was we popped off when it first came out. Like when I first, I guess, started putting out music, right in the middle of COVID. They put out the big release that Sony signed me, and for me, that coolest thing for me was like the Justin Timberlake collab thing, and it was like because he's the Prince of Pop, and it was like
mhm.
new Prince of Country, all this like glamorous shit. It was all, I mean, a lot. It was a lot of really nice things to say about me, but it was like totally not true, like a lot of cool things. And we popped off for a little while and we had some really good shows and runs. And I mean, I went hard on the road for 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah,
Just that's basically all I did was just tour. I toured with literally everyone. I opened up for
right.
every artist I think there. I mean, I guarantee maybe not like 10, minus 10 people, almost everybody else. Like I've opened up for everyone
Yeah,
and I've played everywhere. And up until that point, I ain't never left Tennessee really. And
yeah.
I've been everywhere but 3 states, I think: Alaska, Hawaii, and Vermont. Only
Okay.
3 states I ain't been.
So yeah,
So,
dude, I mean, you're just out there. I mean, you're kind of road dogging it and everything, man.
yeah,
And
we
and
rode
and, and
dog
dude, like
everywhere.
you said, you've played with some of the biggest names in
Oh my God,
country
guys
music
I
now.
grew up listening to, and I mean
Crazy,
Alabama. I mean, I toured like
crazy.
6 times with Alabama and in arenas. It's
Yeah,
like, what am I doing here right now?
yeah,
You said Sam Hunt, like that was my. I mean, I respect his songwriting a whole lot, and I grew up listening to him when I first started like falling in love with being a songwriter. Sam Hunt was the biggest thing out at the time,
yeah,
and getting to open up for him was really cool. It's also cool just because everybody's different. Some people leave you alone, don't, not in a mean way, but they just like they do their thing, I do my thing, and that's
sure.
fine. And some people storm your bus, like, "Hey, you want to go play poker or
Yeah,
whatever?" It's like Darius Rucker of
yeah,
all people, I figured would be like the guy that I would never even get to meet. First thing, he's on my bus, drinking with me, taking me out to the casino with
yeah.
him, like just showing me a great time. Like being a very like a just a great person.
Sure.
Period. Russell
Sh-
Dickerson, great person. Sam
Yeah,
Hunt, great person. There's a few guys that I could really talk great about.
yeah,
But dude, it's been an awesome experience on the road. I've been off the road for a little bit now. I'm missing it. I'll be back soon, but I think we got a bunch planned for. I think April we're starting back up. We got like between 13 and 20 for the
yeah.
spring, and I think I'm going to go to the UK in this summer
Yeah.
with Jamie Johnson and Randy Houser. So
Let's
that'll be
go.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good bill.
I've never been. I've never been across the pond, so I'm excited.
Well, dude, that's great. Well, and so let me ask you too, because you mentioned, like, when you started kind of doing you were working with Sony and all that kind of stuff. So, good old man, right? So, like, I mean, dude, that song really went, I mean, bonkers and everything, TikTok, all this kind of stuff, right? And so, but here's the quick, because I kind of wanted, you know, like you mentioned, you were becoming more and more a family guy, all that kind of stuff. And man, because I want to say on your socials, you just kind of like, did you just celebrate an anniversary with your
I
wife?
did
Like,
with my wife yesterday. Yeah,
was
or
it
Monday.
was it 13 years, 12, 13 years?
13 years. Yeah.
13 years. Okay. So let me ask you, man, because when you're out there and you're just like and I'm always curious about how guys handle this, man, because it's like when you're out on the road like that, I mean, 13 years, man, that doesn't come, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm married. I've been married now 11 years. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like, you've got your scars sometimes and they're highs and lows. And I guess my question is like whenever you start to realize and step into what you've kind of wanted to do, and play in front of, audiences that are, like, how does that impact 13 years? I mean, how does that impact, home? And you know what I'm saying? Like, is your wife your number one fan? Like, I'm just kind of curious how that dynamic
For
between,
us, man, it hadn't changed. I feel like, I could be playing. It's no different than Planet Tootsies, really.
yeah,
I feel like, I guess, like I mean, she's always been super supportive. I never told me that I shouldn't go or do play the show. She's always been 100% like,
yeah.
let's go. But it's been hard. There's been a few tours where I've been, like, I was out with Russell Dickerson for, I think, 16 days. Once out west, and I think that's the farthest, like the longest I've been, which ain't that long, but
Yeah.
that was tough. It's really, and the kids. My son's 8 and my daughter's 4,
Okay.
so being away from them a little bit. The first couple of years,
Yeah.
when I was, like, I think one year we did 171 shows, which
Whew.
means we're gone twice that much because of, like, just travel days and stuff.
Yeah.
That year was rough because I was like, man, I've missed this whole freaking year. I feel like, and I
Yeah.
know that it's part of the gig, but when you're, uh, I mean, I guess, like, honestly, I guess it's like one of those things where when you're coming up in the business, you take almost every shot you can get. You
Yeah.
take every chance you can get. If I get a gig for some big artist, I won't say who or what, because, like, they'll pay you not a lot of money, like they'll
Yeah.
pay, but if I don't take that gig, somebody else will, and I'm playing in front of 18,000 people that night.
Sure.
That's To me, that's an investment, and I just want to take that show because, like,
Sure.
I want to play in front of 18,000 people. I would take it for free probably and just lose the
Yeah.
money. But when that's in North Dakota and you got to fly or take a bus, you're spending a fortune, and at the end of 171 shows, and you're negative on the income list, it's like,
Yeah.
what am I doing here? It's like, that's a rough year. It's like,
Yeah.
what, I mean, I could have been at home. I could have been just saving my money, making money from streaming. So
Yeah.
I've kind of like slowed that down a little bit. Because I've been there, I've done that, I played everywhere, and I'm kind of taking the shows that make sense now. And
Yeah.
so I can stay home, and it's just one of
Well,
those things where I think anybody and everybody's going through it. And
yeah.
but to answer your question about my wife and stuff, it's one of those things where, yeah, I miss home, and yes, she misses me, but we know that's part of the gig.
Sure.
She's been out with me a few times for some of the big stuff. She'll come with me, or
Yeah.
my kids were too little at the time, but hopefully hopefully I get to the point where I can have another bus with my family on it.
Yeah.
But I definitely haven't hit that stage yet because buses are, like, freaking so expensive.
Yeah. Well, and that's so man, I don't know, you may or may not have seen this, but like, so did you see there's a documentary that Ben Stiller just did here recently.
Yeah.
And he kind of tells the story about his parents and everything. And so his dad was Jerry Stiller, and he was, big deal. Everybody knows him from
Yeah.
Seinfeld and King of Queens and everything. And he mentions that, like, man, my dad worked all the time. And then, like, when Ben Stiller gets, he becomes a huge deal and he's in movies, whatever, Zoolander, whatever it is, and he's working all the time. And he's like, man, I get to this point now where I realize that, like, I missed big, big moments in my children's life. Like,
Yeah.
and like I did exactly, kind of what my parents did. I just was married to the work. And I guess that's, my curiosity for a guy like you mentioned, 170 dates, or, and there's all the travel dates in between and everything. And it's like, how do you kind of just work with that within that tension too, I guess, of like, man, I know that this is best for my career, but I want to be dad. I want to be, all that kind of stuff. Like, do you ever just kind of get to a point? I think you kind of touched on it, but it's just like, do you ever get to that point where it's just like, man, I gotta say no to maybe an opportunity that would be a big win for me, but like a bigger win maybe staying home and being with the kids for a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
I think so. I mean, I've said no a lot more recently, but not just because of that, but mainly because of that. I guess, like, if I'm not gonna profit from a show, then Arizona is gonna cost me. I'm gonna spend more than I'm gonna make. It doesn't make sense. Like, the farmer in me is like, "What are you doing?" It's
Yeah.
like, and then but yeah, then B, it's like, well, if you times that by 171 shows, you're gone a whole year of your kid's
Hmm.
life. It's like I'll
Yeah,
take some of those gigs, but we're kind of at a point now where that's not an issue anymore. We're making a little bit more money now, so it's like that was
sure.
just like that was one moment, but it's just crazy how time changes things, and
Sure.
I mean, and I don't regret being gone. I mean, I think that's what my chops and my playing and my like. I love the shows that I played,
Yeah.
and my kids will look. I mean, my dad worked literally all the time, so
Yeah.
and I don't hate him for that. Like I was very
Sure.
fortunate for that, and hopefully my kids will say that one day.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, dude, and I just want to ask you too, because you mentioned your dad, and it's just like, you mentioned that like, you can write four songs and you're just like,
Yeah,
let's go.
workaholic. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, did you get some of that work ethic, I guess, from your
Oh yeah,
dad? Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, same.
I ran away from it as a a teen,
Yeah.
and then turned right into it doing something else. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
that's
man.
part of
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think that that's a special gene to have. My dad gave me the same one, man. It's just like my dad, he worked a full-time job and then he worked a full-time side hustle. And
It's good too to be able to from the songwriting and the artist world of I could probably quit writing songs today and have enough songs to tease and show people for I mean maybe the rest of my career. I mean
yeah,
I wrote so many songs over. I've got probably I think I know I have like 700 demos. Like
yeah.
that's like demos. That's not just
Yeah.
songs, bro. That's demos, man. Like that's insane.
Yeah, it
And
is.
no, not all of them are great, but I like a lot of them. I could I mean I like a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
But I've really worked really really hard the first like 6 years. Um, so I mean I'm writing minimum 200 songs a year,
Whew.
250 songs. I'm 1 year I wrote 333
Do,
songs.
do you mind if I ask you like how many songs does your publishing deal ask you to kick out, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's 12, but
Okay.
But
Got you.
but it's
Yeah.
not 12 songs. It's like if it's
Yeah.
a song if I wrote it by myself. So like if
Yeah.
me and you wrote a song, that's half a song.
Yeah.
So 12 full songs. So probably 50 songs, 50, 60 songs.
Yeah.
But
So yeah.
yeah, so I have a lot, but uh I I think that it's what keeps me going, man. I mean, I love writing. I can kind of take it a little more easy these days.
Yeah.
Where I was focused, I try to focus 2 days a week because I got to shoot content now for the social media.
Yeah.
I got to work on the artist stuff, like because like the deals are just different these days. Where like a deal might not. We're always working with attorney calls and just little things that I really don't have to be there for, but um, I feel like there's just a lot of those calls, throughout a week. So I take 2 days. I usually only write about 3 days a week now.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's
Well,
not too
man,
crazy.
well, yeah, but still, that's such a beefy catalog, man. That's like just you just like that's so many songs you're writing, dude. But I guess I wanted to ask you this too, man. Like because I know like when you got the call that you're gonna play the Opry, dude. How did that can you kind of walk me through that real quick, man, before we just
I mean, dude, I was, a couple years ago, I had mentioned it. I'm like, I was at a point where I think I had it at one point because I was on Hot Country and a playlist, and I had a lot of listeners. I was probably like 2 million monthly listeners. I was popping off like really. I was on it. I just got an XM #1 with Good Old Man, I think,
yeah,
or she got that one. Both of them went #1s, but one of them just got #1, and I was like, what are we doing? I should definitely be playing the Opry at some point, because like that's like the dream. And
yeah,
uh, we talked about it, and an opportunity came up, and something had to pass for a show or something, and it fell to the wayside, and I just never thought about it another second for literally 2 or 3 years. I just never even thought about it
yeah,
until this year, and my publicist mentioned it, and she's like, "Oh my God, you haven't played it?" And I was like, "No." And so she took care of it real quick, and
wow,
we got to be in there, and it was awesome to get to do it on like their 100-year anniversary. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Um, I was so excited, and it was one of those moments where I wasn't as nervous. I was more nervous get like before than when I got there. It was like I figured I'd be like super nervous, and I wasn't. But I guess
yeah,
just because I played so many shows, and I wasn't nervous about playing. I was nervous about playing the Opry.
yeah,
The bands are just so like the band was so good. I didn't have to worry about anything. It was just all perfect. And so fast. It flew by so fast. It was like I blinked and I already sang 2 songs. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get to come back next year or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
It was
I mean,
so fast.
so did something like that. I mean, did your family, your
Oh,
parents
I got
like,
my brought my whole family, my
yeah,
wife's whole family. There were so many people there. Yeah, that's actually the first time. And we just put out my debut record, "What You're Looking For," and like the week before that. So it was really the first time I had gotten my whole family and my work family and like together at one time. It was like it
yeah.
was almost weird. I was just like, why are so many people here? Like my dad was like, how do you know this many people that work like these all these people work for you? And at one point, it's kind of like yeah, or they have at one point or something. Like it was cool. It was really awesome
Yeah.
get to mingle with my family and my Nashville family because I
Yeah.
haven't ever done that really. So it
Man,
was
that's
cool. We bought out Dave and Buster's pretty much. We just bought
yeah.
like a it was fun.
That's a sweet moment, man. Well, I know you mentioned, you got some touring you think, here in the spring, man. Like, I mean, tell me about, you've got, any kind of new projects that you between now and say, the summer that you can kind of tease anything coming out?
Well, we just leaked a song last week called "Spending My Money,"
Mm.
and so I wrote a song for my wife,
That's clever. It's a clever song, dude.
and
Yeah.
it's a funny song kind of, but at the same time, it's still like I don't consider it a funny song because I think everybody can relate to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that it would do that much to be honest. Like, straight up, I was like, well, it's like it's super country, not almost not. I mean, it is '90s country sounding
Hmm.
wise, and
Yeah.
most of my stuff hasn't been the past year. And I just got out of this out like done with this album, and I was like, well, I think I want to start. I've got all these songs that are super country that are '90s vibe that I wrote that I haven't got to put in my mix yet because they just didn't work out because I'm doing a different kind of style before. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this one, see how it does. If it lands, cool. If it don't, I
Yeah.
can just go right back to doing what I'm doing. Whatever. And oh my god, I've got like 8 million views in the
Yeah.
past week on this one song.
Amazing.
And I'm like, okay, they like it. They like
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
so we shot a music video for it yesterday, and I just got the master back this morning. I mean, we've been flying through it, trying to get it ready to come out. It's coming out the 21st, so 2 weeks.
Dude.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna do. I mean, it's probably my biggest leak since Good Old Man. I think. I
Mm.
mean, it's doing good so far.
Dude, that's great, man. Dude, well, dude, congratulations on that success, man. And dude, you're I just appreciate, I appreciate you being vulnerable and kind and everything. And we're gonna be rooting for you, man. I mean, like, yeah, as you just continue, pushing, man, and into next year, we're pulling for you. So dude, if you need anything at all, let us know, dude. And thanks again for jumping on hitting the road. Drew Green,
Awesome.
man. You're a stud, dude. I appreciate it, man.
God bless you.
All right, brother. Later, man.